Hello everyone, and today I decided I'd do my review on Devil May Cry 4 for the PS3 obviously. So, here goes. Now, the Devil May Cry franchise is one of those series of games that I would categorise as the old guard from the PS2 legacy, which are games that came out early on and are still being made for next generation consoles today. Devil May Cry games will always be remembered for their unique visual style, outlandish enemies, its great plot lines, crazy combos, and of course the son of Sparda himself, Dante. We've been playing as the devil hunting suave, arrogant badass for 10 years now, and I've never complained one little bit, but the only time we did complain is when we had to play as Lucia in Devil May Cry 2. So, Capcom decided to do it again in Devil May Cry 4, as you play for the first half of the game at least as new boy Nero, who strikingly looks like Dante. The game starts you off with Nero sitting on a gathering of cultists who worship Sparda when Dante bursts in and slaughters them all. Good start, it's very bloody. Then you have to fight Dante as Nero, as at first it seems like Dante is the bad guy and all this, but as the game progresses you find out that Dante is still the good guy and that Nero is just too much of a whiny emo to realise that the cult that he was a part of was truly evil. Now, Nero is a whiny, stupid little emo dickhead who has just absolutely no fucking clue what's happening around him at any time. Which begs the question, why put up with him? Well, he has a cool sword with a pointless motor-like tool on it that charges up attacks. He has a sick dual-barrel revolver and a big strong devil arm. But at all times you're constantly hoping that around the corner Dante is waiting to take over the reins so you can actually enjoy the game. What is great about Dante in this game is that at all times I get the feeling that he wasn't even trying during any of the fights, as he knew that he could probably just easily beat the shite out of them without even trying. But even though Nero is too annoying, the game is still so much fun to play. It's certainly not the best iteration of Devil May Cry, but it still puts up a good shift. Now, presentation-wise. Presentation sticks to its roots with a medieval backdrop with the trademark neon fonts, keeping the series cool but not new. The way everything is presented around Nero is very rebellious in nature as he is young. Cutscenes for Nero are fast, brash, and I would say inexperienced. But when you play as Dante, it all seems to calm down and sort of go at a steady pace, as his cutscenes are lengthy, well thought out, and don't try too hard. Before you even get to play the game, you have to take part in a horrifically long installation, but what Capcom have cleverly done here, just in case no one has ever played Devil May Cry before, is put a huge presentation detailing what happened in all previous games and gives a short description of each game's main character. It's a heartfelt touch if you're a huge Devil May Cry fan looking back at the good old days. What I like about Devil May Cry 4 is how everything is explained very well during all parts of the game. I never once didn't know what I was doing. It's very, very good. Presentation from me gets a 9 out of 10. It's hard to find any faults here. Everything feels fresh and well put together. Graphics now. Graphically, Devil May Cry 4 is stunning. Everything is lit very well, character models are pleasing to look at, and animations for the most part happen without issue. There are at times some slowdown in tears and texture, but apart from that, it's incredibly easily pleasing on the eyes. Everything apart from the buildings is uniquely coloured. The weapon effects are beautiful and bosses are not easily bested in looks. Cutscenes are the best thing in the game with a sort of anime smoothness and polish to them. Graphics gets an 8 out of 10. Again, there isn't much you can fault with the graphics apart from one or two instances. Sound, well, the game has a very alright soundtrack. During cutscenes you get a very angelic, religious melodies, whilst during normal fights you get one song that plays over and over again for each character. But it's not a bad song, though. It's just that it can get a bit annoying. Boss fights rightly have their own tracks. Sound effects for enemies and your weapons hitting them are very enjoyable to listen to as they sound realistic. Voice acting is superb, with each important character having a very unique voice, which is quite a surprise for modern games. Sound gets a very rewarding 7 out of 10. The lack of variety in music is disheartening, but the effects and voice acting make up for that. Gameplay for Devil May Cry 4 is the game's only downfall. For the most part, it's identical to every other Devil May Cry game that's been out before. Now, this may have worked for God of War, but that's because it had gore and Devil May Cry doesn't really have gore. I do have to commend Capcom for trying to add new elements to it via Nero's unique assets and Dante's variety of weapons. That Nero's arm provides some interesting combos and his sword and gun have some very cool moves, but only really entertain for the majority of a single mission until they become useless, as half the time you're only using the same move over and over again because it's the strongest. But with Dante, he just has the same moveset as he did in previous games and they don't really excite. But what Dante does have is changeable weapons. You can change your Sword Rebellion for a pair of gauntlets and spurs called Gilgamesh, which bumps up strength and lowers speed slightly. Or you can choose Lucifer, which sees you using a load of exploding red needles. It's weak, but it's really fast and really fun. And you can switch your guns, Ebony and Ivory, which are fantastic, to a shotgun called a Coyote, or a Pandora's Box, which in itself has like 4 different weapons, which is great. Both characters can use Devil Trigger, another feature from previous games, and both have the same effects as the previous game, so they're basically just scapegoats from hard fights. Gameplay gets a pretty average 6 out of 10. It's still good, but it's still the same. Lasting Appeal. Lasting Appeal is very good actually for a Devil May Cry game. You start the game with only 2 difficulties, Human, which is basically easy, and Devil Hunter, which is basically normal. But when you complete the game you unlock a few more difficulties like Son of Sparda, Dante Must Die, Heaven or Hell, and Hell or Hell. And that's in order of increasing difficulty. And basically Hell or Hell, you get hit once in any level at any time, you die. You also get to unlock galleries, which are actually more exciting than they sound. There is also the disastrously brutal Bloody Palace minigame, which sees you fight wave after wave of enemies as you try and you have to keep your rank up. Like when you hit enemies you get like D's and C's and shit. You have to keep that up and up and up constantly, which means big combos and no getting hit, which is really hard. There is online ranking, so you can show off your mission ranks, but that's just pointless really. Lasting Appeal gets a 7 out of 10. It would have gotten a 6, but the introduction of the Bloody Palace right at the end adds a whole new way of playing the game. Final verdict now. For a game, Devil May Cry is very enjoyable, and for a Devil May Cry game, it's very enjoyable. So, in short, it's a very enjoyable for non-fans and fans. Overall, taking all previous scores into consideration, Devil May Cry 4 gets a 7+ out of 10. Giving it an impressive rating, meaning it doesn't have award-winning qualities of higher rated titles, but it still is a heck of a lot of fun and should appeal to most game enthusiasts. Now, how long have I got? Well, that's it really. The man himself, Dante, kicking ass. Well, thanks for watching again. As always, if you do, everything's appreciated where they belong, you know. Much appreciated, cheers. Even if I got 1 view a day, I'd be happy. And it's, again, much appreciated. I know I keep saying that, but it truly, truly is. It does truly put a smile on my face. So, thanks again. Hope you enjoyed the review. Hope you agree, hope you don't agree, blah blah blah. Good, I hope it makes you buy the game. Buy it, it's good. Cheers. Take care and have fun, guys. Cheerio.